I was really, really insecure when I was younger. It took me until my 28th birthday until I was ready to join a band, and that was when I started looking for the band. But before that, I was too shy. I messed up singing live for people because of the nerves. But it's a bit that I indeed woke up one day like I'm ready for this. I want to do this. This is so cool, and I'm confident in my singing, and I took it from there, and yeah, I enjoyed it ever since.
Valerie and Tammin of Worlds Beyond. How are you doing today? You've had some busy weeks that you just finished. How are you doing?
We're doing great. I think we were a bit tired after last week, so we needed some time to rest a bit. But now we're fine. We met each other Sunday. We had pizza together, and this week the sun is out, so couldn't be better actually.
There you go, Tammin, sunshine and pizza. That's for you also the measurement of a good day.
Yeah, definitely. It's been hectic the past few months, but also very fun. And now we're still enjoying that like walking on that cloud.
Yeah. For people that are new to the band, what we're talking about, well, there's two things that really happened. Number one, end of January, your album came out, Rhapsody of Life, your second album, and then a good week ago, if you will, there were 3 release shows that were very special because you had, a full orchestra there as well. So a lot of preparation. We'll go into all of that on your plans in just a second. Now, I'll start off by polishing your egos here, because I've already been on record of saying that Rhapsody of Life, your album, is one of the best Belgian metal albums that I've heard in a long time. This album, for me, I'll also be honest, was my first introduction to the band. So I had not heard anything of the band before the album came out, and it really blew me away. So I'll let you just enjoy that ego for a moment.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Is it, obvious, when the people dig into the past of the band, they'll figure out that your debut album came out obviously at the least an opportune moment, like a lot of bands, because it came out when the world locked down. You didn't have a lot of chance to promote that album. So I have a feeling that I'm not going to be the only one that will look at Rhapsody of Life, the second album, as really the first introduction of the band. Did that realization that you will have more opportunity to promote this, that more people will likely pay attention, was that in the back of your minds as you're writing this? Was this supposed to be like, okay, this is another shot at making a first introduction? Is this, in 20 years from now, when we look back, is this the real introduction or start of the band?
Well, we weren't aware of it, I think, because the first album was our first album, everyone's first album. Yeah. So we just thought this is the way it goes. And actually we were in that time quite, I wouldn't say happy with the lockdowns, but it made us have a lot of free time to work on it. We had a crowdfunding. We had lots of time to figure out the artwork and things. Now we had to speed up things a little bit because we work full-time jobs. So we didn't expect this. No, we thought that the first album was doing well, but we of course know we're a niche band. So we thought the interaction with people and the reviews and things, this was just how it goes. But indeed, we see now the world is open again, and we have much more opportunities to show ourselves, to perform, to organize stuff, that it's really different now. But we didn't know that this was coming. For example, like that more people would pick us up as a band. We thought that maybe it was going to be in the same line as the first. So it's a nice surprise for us as well that our music is reaching more people, and we hope to keep it this way.
Tammin, you are, if I understand correctly, you write most of the music for the band, or the main composer of the band. Um, One of the things that set you apart, because people will, on the surface, people might categorize you as a symphonic metal band, and maybe they'll just categorize you as such just based on a photo of the band as well. Um, but one of the things that make you so unique is that there's so much going on. Like, this is a very eclectic sound. Yes, sure, there is symphonic metal in this, on this album, in this sound, but there's anything from pop, progressive rock, alternative rock, even some jazzy sounds in there. There's a lot of things going on. Which makes it interesting, because everybody that listens to it will probably find something that they can relate with pretty quickly. Where in some cases, symphonic metal, it's one of those genres that can be very, very strict to what you can and should sound like. When you are composing, when you're writing, is there a line in the sand for you? Like, are there moments that you went like, okay, this idea is too left field for a rock metal band, I can't do that? Or is anything possible in your sound?
I would say anything is possible, really, as long as it sticks to the band setup that we have, so the 6 musicians, because we do want all the musicians to play at least once or part of a song. But I'm happy the way you described our sounds, or like our genre, because that's a feedback we often get, that we're technically we're symphonic metal, but actually we're way broader than that. Like, we indeed have an eclectic sound, and I try to have an eclectic sound. I don't write symphonic metal. I just write whatever sounds good to me, and obviously I'm inspired by more than just symphonic metal. So
Yeah.
so yeah, we definitely want to have that kind of sound that's inspired by lots of genres. Yeah.
Now, an additional symphonic layer was added for these release shows, to make an understatement, with a whole orchestra. How hard is it? I've never met you in person before. I've never seen you play before. My experience tells me that bands that have one, first and foremost, songwriter, it's not always easy to let go of control. And when you play with an orchestra, you have to let go of so much control, because there's so many things that could potentially go wrong. Was setting up a show, or these 3 shows, was that super cool, or was that also really, really tough and scary to do? Because, I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong at that point.
Yes, that's true. It's actually a bit of both. We didn't know. I think I can say we started planning this maybe about a year ago, or even longer. We didn't know what we're getting ourselves into, let's say.
Yeah.
It was, at the end, it was almost a full-time job next to our own job.
Not bad.
And indeed, we have our own manners of rehearsing, and that's just the 6 of us. We have our in-ears, we have click track, and, but things go right a lot of the times, because we all know where to pick up in our ears if someone plays a mistake, and etc. But then we had to let go of all of that. Everything we had control of, we had to let go in order to play with the orchestra. And of course, the backing track we're playing with, we're so used to how it sounds. It sounded entirely different with the orchestra, so it was enjoyment, but also like, what are they doing here? And I have to remember for next time that this happens, so I don't get startled. On the other hand, also practicing on timing, following the conductor, playing together with a group of 50 plus people. So it was both. But I think the best example of how much I personally enjoyed it was during our shows. I took one of my in-ears out to hear everyone better. So it was like a complete experience. And in the end, everything went well, but it was scary, because we had to let go of a lot of our habits as a band. But really cool. Totally would recommend.
Can I keep my fingers crossed that footage was recorded from this show, from these shows?
Yes, we have the audio for the 3 days, and then the last show on Sunday, we also have video. So now we'll have to see what we can use. So we don't bring out any videos with big mistakes because no one's waiting for that. But next time we come together, we take all of our material and we'll sort it out. So yeah, that's our hope as well, that we can release some footage or some songs on Spotify or audio. We have to see what we do with it, but we'll first have a listen and a look at all the material and make a selection.
Awesome. And Tammin, I believe that you've also acted as the producer for the band. Does that, like, is that a challenge you look forward to? Like, is your comfort zone behind the controls and going into 1,000 different layers and channels to go figure out how to bring that to life, or are you first and foremost a musician? How would you look at yourself?
I would say I'm both, but maybe even more like a songwriter and music producer, because I do love arranging all the songs. When I write the songs, it's not just the chords and the melody, but then I also write out all the band parts before we go to rehearsals. And for the album recording itself, the backing tracks that Valerie mentioned, that's produced by us. So I write it on keyboards mainly. I play it on keyboards with all kinds of orchestra instruments that I like, and then that ends up on the album. Well, except for the live show. In that case, it gets transcribed for the musicians.
I'm gonna boost your ego even more, Tammin. Like, because one of the things that I really like about something I already said before, what's really cool about the album or about your sound is that it is so eclectic, and there's a lot of different things going on. We've got, guitars take the spotlight, Valerie takes the spotlight, violin takes the spotlight as well. Often there's a lot of interaction. When you have bands with more than 3 musicians, that could get lost in Dutch, in our language, I sometimes say, like, in a soup, of sound. What I really like about this album is that it is actually so clear. Like, you can really hear every instrument when it's their time to shine. And I don't mean that there's no cohesive unity as a band or anything like that, but I like it that you allow different instruments to give their spotlight. Is that a conscious thing when you're working on that? Because you already said earlier, I think something like, I want people to the musicians to let them shine where they need to shine. So is that something that's on your mind, that you want to make sure that everybody gets their fair share, if you will, of the spotlight?
Yeah, definitely. That's like the easiest way to do that is just to make sure that every part of the song there's one person who has a spotlight, and usually that's Valerie, of course, but we have intros where the piano is a spotlight, we have violin riffs, we have guitar solos, so I really want to have all the band members in there. Also in this album we have, I think, 2 songs where it's quite acoustic, like it's only Valerie and the keyboard player Robbe and maybe Jacob, the violinist, playing, and then the rhythm section, like the rock parts, only falls in later in the song, and that's also again to give room to other musicians.
Yeah. Awesome. And Valerie, I think you mentioned early in this conversation that the first album was not just the first album of this band, but for a lot of people in the band, their first recording experience. So, I mean, time to shine your polish your ego a little bit. Timon has got a lot of that already. You blew me away as a singer. I think you are on this album. You're a phenomenal singer. I hope to see you live soon. What if not other recording bands, like, nobody just wakes up overnight and goes like, oh, tomorrow I'm gonna join a band and record this. Like, help me understand your journey a little bit. Like what or who inspired you to sing, even in acoustic moments, still with a lot of power, but in a controlled way? Like, it sounds like there is some training there.
Yes, there definitely is, and it's a bit of a classic or cliche story. But when I was 11, my dad came home with the album "Oceanborn" by Nightwish. We were a family that listened already to a lot of heavy metal, but this was something new we never heard before. And I was sold as a little girl of the operatic vocals, but I wasn't really home in the genre. My parents weren't either, so I just started singing along with stuff I discovered on the way, and I was like, yeah, Nightwish, but of course it was way too difficult for me. But like Within Temptation when I was 12, 13, and then the feeling started to come like, okay, my voice isn't that bad, and I really want to take singing classes, but it took a while to take the step because I was a child that had a lot of hobbies, but never kept any of them going longer than 2 months. So my parents were a bit like, let's just see. But when I was 16, I saved some money. I enrolled myself into the local music academy, and I followed their lessons for 10 years, mainly classical. Classical is like the base I have for singing because I love it so much. It's instant love when I sing a new piece, but I also like to explore other techniques. So the other sounds you hear me singing are mostly self-taught YouTube videos, just singing along with other bands and just trying out. And yeah, that's a bit my journey, but I was really insecure when I was younger. It took me until my 28th birthday until I was ready to join a band, and that was when I started looking for the band. But before that I was too shy. I messed up singing live for people because of the nerves, but it's a bit that I indeed woke up one day like I'm ready for this. I want to do this. This is so cool, and I'm confident in my singing, and I took it from there, and yeah, I enjoyed it ever since. So awesome. I was kind of how do you say it, a late bloomer. I don't know if that's the right word, but I wanted to make sure that the singing was really okay before I had the confidence. Let's say, yeah.
Belgian bands often have a hard time getting out of Belgium or feeling that they are worthy of going out of Belgium. This is my take as somebody obviously born and raised in Belgium and grew up there. You know, I left when I was 28. There's a lot of great bands in Belgium that will play in local, you know, small venues 1 million times every year, but have a hard time breaking out of Europe. I hope that you guys have that confidence to go after that. It's great. It's really cool to see that you can do this beautiful free shows and big, and you might never want to play without an orchestra at this point, now that you've tasted, you know, that experience. But it would be such a shame if the band becomes another example of Belgian bands that have quality material, but that never took that step or took that jump to look beyond the border. So what can both of you tell me that more about the plan? Like, can I keep my fingers crossed to see more shows announced? Can I hope for shows outside of Belgium as well? What's going on? Tam, and I see that you're ready to say something.
Okay, so it's indeed true that it's sometimes difficult to get like lots of shows in Belgium with symphonic metal, and then yeah, going abroad becomes interesting, but it's also a lot more difficult. So we've had a few shows. I think one in Eindhoven, maybe a few more, I don't know, but yeah, not that much yet. So we definitely want to do that more in the future, and we've been talking about it too. Maybe look at Germany, other countries, because yeah, there is opportunity, and it would be really cool if we can do more shows abroad.
Yeah. I'm not expecting you to play Canada next week already. I mean, you would be more than welcome, obviously, to come over. But I do hope that we get more announcements. It's great that you have such a strong album, that you had these beautiful release shows, and hopefully you can repurpose some of that content to get more promotion for the album. But the year is still young, and I hope that 2025 is going to be a year of lots of shows inside and outside of Belgium, and more people discovering this album. Valerie and Tam, I want to thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I genuinely love your album, and people that watch this YouTube channel know I don't say that a lot in interviews. So everybody that is looking for something different, go check out Rhapsody of Life by Worlds Beyond. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope to see you in person on a stage very soon.
Yeah, thank you so much as well.
You are awesome for watching this video. Click right here to see more content like it and subscribe to the channel.